Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for attending. It's good to see some people in the audience today. Let's cover some routine items real quick. We just need a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of September 12th. Accept and order file the minutes of the Committee on Special Education for the dates listed. And accept and order file the minutes of the Committee on Preschool Special Education. Do we have a motion? So moved, Amanda. Seconded by?
Second.
Crystal, all in favor? That carries. Okay, so let's see. Do we have any public comments this evening? Anybody? Okay. That will take us to our committees. For personnel, Mr. Canini.
This month, there's a lot of intramural appointments, and I want to thank the staff for volunteering to do that. Obviously, there's pay, but there's still volunteer. The tech department is fully staffed, and there are 2 retirements, Kim Shea and Bonnie Scazzoletta, and thank you to both of them for their service to the district. Other than that, it's pretty routine.
Anybody have any questions for personnel? Okay, so by consent, that carries. Then moves us to athletics. And we decided that, Mrs. Lansman, can you do that tonight? And if not.
Probably not.
All right.
Yeah, so the athletics, there is a written report at your desks. Mr. Fitzgerald is not able to be here with us tonight because he had work out of town. So if you want, I can read through it, or you can.
If you could, that'd be great.
All right. I just had a copy of it at my seat. But then I moved. Can you pass that down? No, Mr. Carpenter. There's
See,
a
that's all
report.
I have too. If I had the detailed thing, I could do it. I don't have any.
Yeah, so I can go through with this. Mr. Carpenter does have a report that he was going to bring down. He usually gives one to Mr. Fitzgerald. But we talked about a few different things in there. Mr. Carpenter relayed that he is working with a group of athletic directors from the Foothills Council. They're going through the Constitution and bylaws. That's a project that's been going on all summer. They are getting closer, and when they get to the end of that process, it does have to come back to component school boards for ratification. That is a little bit different than other leagues I've been associated with, so I don't know if that's how the voting will be in the future Constitution, but in the current one, it is that way, so you're going to see that document prior to its approval, because this board will have to approve it along with the other schools in the Foothills Council. Athletic trainer, job description, and standing order protocols. That was a question last time that Dr. Steele brought up. The job description is there, linked for you in that. But there are standing orders and protocols that come directly from our school doctor. The athletic trainer actually works under the guidance of our school doctor. They work closely together. So wanted to share that information with you. Anyone can save a life mandate. That goes into effect at the beginning of next school year. However, Mr. Carpenter and Mr. Dennett are working to have that for all of our teams this year as the school year goes on. So you'll see that. That's where each team has to have a training program and also an action plan in case something happens to a student athlete or a coach or a spectator at one of their games. It's all about anybody can save a life, and it's gained some traction because of what happened with DeMar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills last year that everybody saw parts of on national TV. Merger opportunities, we spoke about upcoming mergers. We also spent a little time talking about the mergers that have gone through for athletics. The committee mentioned to Mr. Carpenter that we are supportive of looking for other athletic merger opportunities that will be beneficial both for our student athletes and student athletes of other schools. He also spoke briefly about the spectator regulations. This summer, it was passed at the New York State Public High School Athletic Association meeting. It's a mouthful. So there's a very specific regulation and penalty for spectators who don't behave the way they should. I will tell you that we are fortunate that the great majority of our spectators do exactly what they should do. And we also have had a history here of taking care of those individuals who didn't behave the way that they should without having to have this regulation. But the state thought it was time for them to have a regulation in place as well. So we welcome it. It's not going to cause us any real angst because we've been doing it anyways. That's what we had on athletics.
Any questions for Mr. Ward? Okay, that moves us to audit. Mrs. Grimaldi.
Okay, so we had quite a bit for audit this month. We do have our treasurer's reports for June, July, and August. We are, I think, still waiting on the audit, but I think that'll come through soon. So we're gonna go through the treasurer's reports and approve those tonight and put them up for approval. So I'll go over the treasurer's report for June first. In the general fund, we had 3.3 million in receipts and 10 million in disbursements, leaving a balance of 1.8 million, and a total cash on hand of 13.4 million. That is for June. Can I just go through them all and then do approval after? Is that okay? Okay. For the month of July, we had $785,000 in receipts in the general fund and 2.2 million in disbursements, leaving a balance of $431,000 in the general fund, and a total cash on hand of 10 million and $190,000 in change. And then also for the month of August, treasurer's report, in the general fund, we had receipts of $2.3 million and disbursements of 2.6, leaving a balance of $165,073.95, which is pretty typical for that time of year. We see a lot of funding come in September, so that's, well, it's a lower balance. It's normal for that time of year. For this time, yeah, for August. And then total cash on hand in the month of August closed out at $7.5 million. The extracurricular account balances, we have the August report in the packet. There was a little bit of activity just from over the summer leagues, paying for refs and camps and things, and Hudson Falls hosts a lot of those, so that's really exciting for our kids. And there was a class of 2023 did have a balance in their extracurricular account that they donated to the class of 2027, so there's that transaction in there. And then we also do have the extracurricular account balances for September as well in there. There is a the class of, just one note in there, the class of 2024 did have a scholarship fundraiser. So there's a little bit for the John Bearberry Scholarship. So that's some transactions there. And I think those are it for kind of the monthly bills are in there for September, if anyone has any questions on those. They're also, on the extracurricular accounts, we're gonna approve a dissolution of the world language extracurricular account. That was for the culture fair, which the culture fair will still be happening. That isn't going away. It's just gonna get merged with the Spanish club. So that'll just be one last extracurricular account balance on that, or account there. And we do have a couple disposals there. Wheelchair that's going to be put up for approval to dispose of that is no longer in usable condition, and then also some steam kettles from the kitchen are on there as well. And then do you want to talk, Mr. Clancy, about tax adjustments?
Sure. The last item on the agenda that we discussed was a tax adjustment, and basically this is for National Grid, Verizon, Time Warner, and First Light Fiber. And what occurred when the information came from the state to the county, they had the equalization rate wrong on these 4 special franchises. So they were actually charged more for school taxes than what they should have been. The equalization rate was at 91.55%, it should have been at 100, which made them, their bills actually be higher. So what they're looking for is for us to give approval for them to correct the bills and then reissue them for them to pay the tax bill for the 23-24 year. All in all, for all 4 of them combined, it's a matter of $3,000. So after reviewing it, these things happen. We get chargebacks from the county from time to time. These things happen, but I think the best way to handle it is for us to vote to approve. I'm sorry, I've been talking without the thing on. For us to vote to approve the amended bills so that we can take care of it right now, so we don't have to make adjustments down the road.
Are they individual votes?
Probably should approve those individually when you vote. Yep.
Okay.
Did anyone have any questions on treasurer's report or monthly bills or extracurricular accounts, anything like that? Okay.
We just need a motion to approve the June, July, and August treasurer's report. So moved by Amanda, seconded by
Second.
Heidi, all in favor? Okay, as far as the resolutions, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the dissolution of the World Language ECA for the Culture Fair and the transfer of funds to the Spanish Club ECA. We have a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Crystal, seconded by Megan, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, that carries. The second one, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the disposal of a wheelchair at the high school. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Amanda, seconded by
Second.
Heidi, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. And lastly, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the disposal of steam kettles that are no longer functioning at the middle school. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Megan, seconded by
Second.
Crystal, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. Do we have, you want to read that out, got it here for, I don't see that one on mine.
I can go through it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Okay, let me do it. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the tax adjustments for National Grid, Verizon, Time Warner, and First Light Fiber.
These are all individual votes?
No, as long as you do them separate from the treasurer's report,
Oh,
and all that,
okay.
you can do them
Okay.
all together.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Crystal, seconded by Heidi, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. Okay. That moves us to transportation. Dr. Steele.
Yep. You can see that you can read the DOT report there, the trip report there as usual. A couple quick notes on the workforce. Just a little note about 2 drivers that are out with injury. We're looking forward to having them back soon. And we spoke last month about having a new driver come on. He's still working through some of his road tests and stuff and anticipating him getting certified in the near future. We also have another monitor that's looking to become a driver. So she's working through some of her training certifications. Should be ready to go soon, hopefully as well. Update on the vans that we talked about last month. We're still waiting on those through the New York State Marketplace website. Just slow getting things put out apparently. So looks like Aaron's going to check into that a little bit. Hopefully get things moving along in the near future. No solid timetable as far as we know about when we're going to get those, but hopefully we get them soon. Then as usual, there's diesel, gasoline, and propane prices at the bottom there.
Any questions for Dr. Steele? Okay. That moves us to buildings and grounds. Mrs. Borlang.
So we focused on the capital project for discussion. 12/31 is the deadline for the final cost reports, and it sounds like we're in pretty good shape to meet that deadline. So our state aid is going to come in to match up with our first payment, which means some of the funds that were held back to facilitate a payment, if that was necessary, can now be dispersed for work items that were put on pause. So these are, as you can see, things are taking future, what the community wants, what the expectations are, and, you know, what things are necessary for the district to keep moving forward, so there'll be more to come.
Awesome. Any questions for Ms. Sproul? Okay, that moves us to policy. Mrs. Lansman?
Okay, so you'll see we have one second read on here. That was the new sexual harassment in the workplace policy. We had some questions on that last week. We discussed those questions in our policy committee meeting, and was it just you, Mike, or did Mike and Dan, both of you, talk to?
I talked with Mr. Fitzgerald,
Okay.
and Mr. DiCaprio emailed Mr. Fitzgerald.
Okay, so questions were discussed between all of those guys as well. We have this on here for a second read. If everybody is good to go and there's no more questions, no more concerns, no more anything, we can approve it tonight, but it's not, we don't have to do it right now, right? If anybody does have more questions about anything, concerns, anything, you can let us know. And then we'll put it on again for next month. We'll talk about it at our policy committee meeting again, and then we'll put it on for next month for approval. But if nobody has any questions about it, then we can approve it tonight and go forward with it. And then there is also on there, just for discussion, the comprehensive student attendance policy 7110, the handbook. And is this what you were talking about, Mr. Ward, where things?
Yeah, so that policy hasn't been through a full review in a while, so we had that conversation about the full review as well to the references to a full review that occur inside of our student handbooks. So that's a talking point for us, probably in another meeting. I need to have a follow-up with our principals first before we can do that, but just putting it on your radar. And the other, I'm going to jump back to the sexual harassment. There was one question that came to me for which I had to reach out to council. I haven't heard back from council yet, so I'd recommend that you folks table that until I can get that answer for the individual who asked it before we move forward with it.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Since we're tabling the policy second read on 6121, we will move on. Any questions for Mrs. Lansman? Okay, that moves us to advocacy. Mrs. Andrikovics.
Okay, so we had a great ASBA meeting. Jess was there. It was so interesting about AI and its impact on teaching and learning. Was really a worthwhile, I don't want to say speech, but presentation. It was really good. And then I'm going to hand most of this over to Dan. But before I do, I just wanted to say, you know, advocacy is a lot of different things. There's local advocacy, there's state advocacy, there's federal advocacy. And our district is really fortunate to have a superintendent who understands all of those facets and really has his foot in groups that know how to advocate for all of those different groups and levels in a meaningful and effective way. So with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Dan because he's doing some really great work through the Superintendent Bosie's advocacy group.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it, the kind words, as well as you handing it over. Just want to say one more time, thanks to everybody who donated to the drive that they were doing. Hudson Falls was well represented at the donation table, I mean, well represented, so thanks to everybody for that. It was a lot for me to have to carry that one by myself because Heidi showed up late, conveniently. Not late, but later than me.
I waited in the parking lot until I saw that everything was there. I was like, all right, now.
But thank you so much, really making a difference for the kids. And Lynn King from Adair Area School Boards Association was very thankful, so I wanted to share that information back. Several things going on with advocacy. We have some draft priorities that'll be coming out. You'll see those between now and our next meeting. Because I have another advocacy meeting with the Wish Week group between now and then. I'm going to be attending an in-person lobby day on December 5th, which seems like a lifetime away, but it's going to be here before you know it. The one thing that Heidi sent out an email saying, is there things that maybe we've missed in our conversation about advocacy? If you have something and you can get it back to her, I can try to weave those into what our local Hudson Falls, into what Wish We is, and into what we do at the state level as well, as best I can. But some things we're talking about is the electric bus transition. That's on everybody's frontal lobe. Just trying to get some information to our legislators about the hardship that can cause and the lack of information that still exists even after the governor released her roadmap. We're certainly not saying that we're against it. We just want to be able to do it the right way and at the right time. So we'll be continuing to talk about that. We are definitely going to thank our legislators for the foundation aid. As you know, we're fully funded for the first time in over a decade, which is a great place to be because we talked in advocacy about the budget call letter, which I also mentioned in audit committee. I was saving it for this one. The budget call letter is a letter that goes out for the division of budget to all the department heads, telling them what to plan for next year. That call letter went out 1 month earlier than it does normally. And basically the call letter, and I think I asked Kelly to link it in there so you could read it later on, basically asked for all department leaders to plan on a flat budget going into next year. Not looking to sound any warning bells yet, but that's just interesting to see that early. And they've been asked to return their information for next year's budgets back into the Division of Budget for the state of New York about a month earlier than normal. For us, our date is those January state aid runs. That's our starting point. And again, because we're fully funded, even if they do decide to do something where they're taking money away from schools, at least we're to full funding, and that's where any deduction would come from, not being behind by $4 or $5 million and having a deduction coming from a lower number. So I wanted to put that in there for all of you, so you'll be able to read that letter if you really want to read it. Worth knowing that the federal government lowered the community eligibility provision threshold. That's the threshold for all students to get free and reduced lunch. That's not a concern for us because we already met the criteria. It is a concern for some of our neighbors, and it's also a concern for advocacy because we often are advocating for our neighbors as well as us. So the feds have moved it from 40% to 25%, which will help some of our neighbors that weren't qualifying. The two of note that I can think of right now are Saratoga City Schools and Queensbury Union Free School District. I believe they'll both now be able to qualify for CEP because they were seeing a large drop off in the number of kids who were eating breakfast and lunch at school since the COVID rules went away and those individuals had to start paying for lunch and breakfast. Some of our local stuff, our pre-K waiver conversation will continue with Carrie Warner, and she's going to be out. Do you remember the date, Maggie? Out to see October 30th to see our ag classroom. And while she's here, she and I will have a conversation about a few other things. But she definitely wanted to come out. Assemblywoman Warner wanted to see the classroom, but I offered a couple of other items to talk about. So we will make the most of that visit. A couple of things to know. The Lunar New Year was passed as a school holiday. Will not affect us. We had given you a lot of heads up on this. Will not affect us for this year. Will affect our school calendar for next year. So more to come on that. A couple of bills to note. There's a maximum minimum temperature bill for schools and a maximum minimum temperature for kitchen workers bill. Both are being talked about in the legislature. Worth knowing that there's a cost associated with having to maintain specific temperatures inside of school buildings. And so I've asked Steve Wickman from March Associates to get me a number of what it would cost to air condition all of our buildings. As you know, our middle school is climate controlled. Our primary school was supposed to get that same functionality in our last building project. It was one of the items we had to cut out due to the cost escalation of everything else. So we were working on that progression anyways. But a couple of things of note. There's a lot of money behind minimum maximum temperature bills for schools. And I don't know that the legislature knows that. Maybe they know everything about it, but I'll have our Hudson Falls number, be ready to talk about our Hudson Falls number when the time comes. I'm happy to do it. Happy to have the high school be air conditioned. Just need to know how we're going to pay for it. Right? That's what we need to know. That's a lot. Did I miss any items?
I might just add that Lunar New Year is a school holiday, not a state holiday.
Correct, yeah. Lunar New Year is a school holiday, not a state holiday, which means that state workers would not be off.
I mean, parents would not be off.
Correct. Parents of many of our children who work for the state of New York would not have that as a holiday, which creates some issues for families. So more to come once we see how that school calendar shapes up for next year, which is usually February? Yeah, January, February. That's advocacy.
Thank you, Dan. So I just have two more things to add. We've got NISBA coming up in 2 weeks. Dan and I are gonna go check that out, so I'm excited for that. And then Monday is the voting delegates, so if anybody had a chance to look through the voluminous packet of proposed legislative priorities and has feedback and wants to discuss how they would like me to vote, you just let me know. If not, I'm gonna fly by the seat of my pants on Monday. So, and that's all for advocacy.
You're well read on it. You're just going to go with what you think the best
Yeah.
represents the board.
Yep, I just wanna make sure I, give an opportunity for conversation if there needs to be some.
Okay.
And that's all I have for you.
Any questions for Mr. Ward or Mrs. Andrikowicz? Okay, that concludes our committee meetings. We do have one item on new business. It's a scholarship request under the Goodness Strong. You want to speak about that at all, Mr. Ward? or-
Yes, so they actually reached out to us asking if they could start a scholarship. We could, Kelly sent them a lot of information of what normally happens. So they've reached out. They are looking to sponsor that for at least 6 years. That's where they started, to a graduating senior every single year. As you know, Christopher is a young man who passed away last year, so the parents are doing this in memory of him. So thanks to them for taking something that was, I don't know how to say it any differently, horrific in their life, and try to turn it into something good for another child and family in their life. I appreciate it very much, and I'm sure the board does as well, as will any young person who receives that scholarship.
Well said. If nobody has any questions, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the Goodness Strong Scholarship request.
So moved.
So moved by Amanda, seconded by
Second.
Crystal. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay, Mr. Ward, Superintendent's report.
Yep, so superintendent's report, she's got it up there. Board appreciation, yeah, so October is Board Appreciation Month, and it's something that we don't want to overlook. So tonight at your places, you'll see a couple of different things, and some of these are just, they're all fantastic in their own way. But you have something that came from the elementary schools, with photos of children or pictures drawn by children, expressing their thanks for the work that you do. I don't know that they fully comprehend, but I'm sure the teachers did a good job talking about people who are doing good things that you don't know are doing good things for you. So they really wanted to have an opportunity to appreciate you folks. So I don't know if you want to hold yours. I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Super cool.
Yeah, so I think we're going to take them. What I'd like to do is actually hang them on the wall in here so that we can see them as we go through the year and the work that is the work of the board, and know that folks appreciate you each and every night. I also have, I didn't get one of these, so I can only speak to it. I can't taste it. You also got a Dove candy bar from the agriculture program. You are correct. I am not. It's perfect. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. But a token of appreciation from the ag program and Miss Hogan. And you also have the Tiger Town. I did get one of these. It's down in my office. But you all got the Tiger Town. What's it called? From the printmaking class, from Mr. Smith's printmaking class at the high school. So thanks to all of them. And I want to thank Kelly for reaching out to the folks around the district and asking if they had any ideas for board appreciation. Several late nights and a lot of difficult decisions. And I certainly appreciate the work that you folks do and wanted to let you know that other people do as well. So did I miss anybody else, Kelly, that was?
No, that was it.
Okay, great. Superintendent's Conference Day. Yeah, so last Friday, we had a 3-hour session in the morning with Don Chomet talking about school safety from a little bit different perspective. It wasn't about locks and things like that. It was about teaching with love and working with kids with love. I found it to be pretty impactful. I got some nice feedback from many of the staff members who were there and faculty members who were there. We invited every faculty and staff member that works here to attend that, other than, I think we had 1 or 2 bus drivers on the road moving kids, and that means we have to have somebody at the radio in the bus garage. Besides that, everybody was here. We had several employees who normally work only 180 days, and that day would not have been counted as one of those days, opt to come to that presentation as well. So we had excellent attendance. We had some folks from outside the school district come, from other schools, and from other agencies. We had an individual from the state police, another one from, I think it was the state sheriff's department. Definitely had some folks over from BOCES. President Gollin was there in his official capacity for them as a security
School safety
officer over there. Second half of the day, the admin team was here in this exact room doing AED, CPR, and first aid for the better, just over 3 hours, probably about 3 hours and 15 minutes. So they had a day that was totally dictated by me. I'm sorry, but it was a good day. We enjoyed it. We all learned how to save a life, and we're just trying to make sure that we're able to do that if the situation ever arises. Our teachers had department and win time. So they were having discussions in their classrooms and back at their buildings while we were all here doing this piece. So I hope that you had an opportunity to do something productive back at your buildings, just looking around at everybody there. So a good day was had by all, and it was a productive day. Moving down, Advanced Course Access Grant. Yeah, so we joined a consortium of 18 schools within our BOCES to apply for this grant. We were awarded, our consortium was awarded $1 million, $500,000 to be spent this year, $500,000 to be spent next year. And there's going to be an opportunity for people to participate in course writing, also taking courses that already exist and making them into advanced level courses. There's going to be some virtual and online possibilities as well. We don't have the final award letter. BOCES hasn't received it yet, but we've been told that we've been awarded the money. So you'll hear and see things like that. I shared the same information at the DSDMT meeting and at the DLT meeting. Basically every meeting in the last week or so I've heard the same thing. So congratulations to us and to the other 17 schools, and thanks to BOCES, and thanks to Mike for his work and getting that paperwork completed for us, and attending the meetings about it. I attended the first meeting and then said, hey, Mike, how about this? So I thank you for the work as well. It's going to be good things for our kids, good things for our staff. Moving down, Care Solace is one that the counselors have been working with. Mike had a big part in it. I'm going to let him talk to it because he can speak more intelligently about it than I can, and I've talked too much already.
So Care Solace is one more service we're offering to our students, our staff, faculty, and community. We have a really pretty robust wraparound set of professionals in the district with psychologists and social workers and counselors, but they're all very busy. For a long time, we've had CDPC here, which is clinical level psychiatry at the middle school and high school. They are at capacity. They cannot take any more. In my time here, we also added CDPC at the elementary buildings to do the same thing. They are at capacity. They can't get us any more help. We would take it if they had it, but there's no more to give. So we signed up for a thing called Care Solace. Kudos to Sarah McCormick in particular, high school counselors in general, for spearheading the work. Care Solace is basically, I'll be fancy about it, it's a concierge. It's a connector. So if there's somebody who is in need of more mental health care or substance abuse care than we can provide, this organization will connect them with the service. It will make all the phone calls. It will make all the appointments. It will do all of that grindy, wait on hold work for you. And then call you back and say, show up to this place at this time, here's your counselor. If you've dealt with the healthcare system, you know how hard that is, especially if you're trying to find a new provider for a new service. Add on the difficulty of this being mental health issues or substance abuse issues. This does all of that stuff in between for them. We can refer them, if with their permission, if we refer them, we get a tracker on them, in process, connected, had their appointment, or they can refer themselves. There's a phone number, there's an email, it's up on our website and ready to go already. It is not just for the kids, it is for anybody in this room, it's for anybody in our community. I don't know, what else am I missing?
And we featured it last week on the Talking Tiger newsletter, so it was there too. So if it sounds like repetitive information, I just wanted to make sure we said it out loud at our public meeting as well, because we're hoping that anybody who needs it will take advantage of it. Good? Yeah. Superintendent eval and goals. I just want to take a minute to thank the board for completing my evaluation. I did meet with Jeff and Amanda beginning of last week. We met and went through the feedback. They gave me some comments on goals moving into this year. Jeff and I both signed the document, made sure it went into my personnel folder, so it's there. You can check that off your list of things to do as a board member, but I appreciate the feedback. I do have a set of draft goals for 23, 24. Really just want to hand them out. I'm hoping if you could, I'll send them that way. See if I saved enough. Did I do it right?
No?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I'm gonna need one back. But that's all right. That's all right. That's good. Yeah, if you got that. You have them there. If you have additional feedback on those, if you want to send it to Jeff or Amanda, I'd like to get those finalized for you folks before the next board meeting, if possible. A couple of them, I would read right through them. The superintendent will demonstrate the use of data in decision-making to improve student outcomes. As you know, there's been a student outcome goal in my goals for each of the years. This year I was asked to frame that a little bit differently. I tried to do that through the way that that's written. Completion of the multi-year strategic plan, completion of the development of that, not that the work's all over and we're perfect by the end of the year, but we've got the plan ready to roll. And growing our administrators and growing our leaders locally, trying to provide opportunities for folks here to take part in teacher leadership or administrative leadership, or any other type of leadership we might have here. And number 4 on that list, be the face, voice, communicator, and advocate for the district. It rolled 2 of the previous goals kind of into one goal. Some things that we'd like to keep on our radar, but we feel like we're doing okay with right now, is the way I could probably express it in words the best. So if you have feedback, want me to change those things or address those, Jeff and Amanda, please provide your feedback to them, and then they'll get in touch with me, and I'll get you something that says draft 2 or something like that on it prior to the next board meeting. That's what I had.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Ward? Okay. As far as the president's report, we did our own evaluations. I have a summary for that, and I'll email those to you guys. Try to do my great computer skills on putting things together as a summary, so we'll see how that goes. But we'll have ours is all set to go. It's ready to go to Kelly in the file, and we're good to go for this year. Okay. Okay, that we don't have any reason to go to executive session.
I do not.
Do you want these back in?
You can have the drafts, yeah.
Yeah, just take them and, review it, and you can see the difference between last year and this year as far as like putting the, 2 together into one. Okay, so we just need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Heidi. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, that carries. Thank you very much for attending this evening.